world, what is up? Welcome to Behind the Wheel, the brand new show filled with new product info, tips, and stories for all you drivers and couriers driving with Uber out there. I'm your host, Matt Forte, and we have an amazing special guest joining us today, an Uber driver and passenger as well. You'll be able to catch his US Open debut at the Los Angeles Country Club this month, a journey decades in the making, top 30 player in Asia, ranked 438th in the world. That's huge. The self-proclaimed Hensonator is with us. That's right. Please welcome to the show, the great Berry Henson is here. Barry, thanks so much for joining us. I got a lot I want to get to, but first and foremost, how are you, sir? How are you doing?
Hey, Matt, thanks for having me on today. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, but I'm soaking it all in. The excitement level's been really high. I've been enjoying the last, 7 days here as I qualified, about a week ago now in New Jersey. And yeah, what a whirlwind it's been.
Whirlwind is the exact word that came to mind when I was thinking about this. Like, it has to have been, I'm sure the last week, the last 10 days have been pretty remarkable. Just so much happening at once, everything kind of coalescing and coming together. It's got to be an incredible feeling right now.
Oh, amazing. I mean, the opportunities, the exposure I've had for myself and in just the last week. I mean, it's been just breathtaking, humbling experience for me. Very honored to be playing my first major championship in Southern California, where I grew up. And, I've definitely drove with Uber here in the LA area. So I'm hoping to see some of my riders, this week out on the golf course cheering me on.
That's amazing. The home court advantage, man. You got family and friends and excitement all behind you, pushing you along the way. There's nothing better. I saw on Twitter you got a fresh haircut. You checked in, got your locker. You're getting all the prelim stuff set up. When do you officially tee off? When do things like kick off proper? Is it Thursday? How much time you got left?
Yeah, so this is kind of cool. The tee times came out yesterday, and I just found out that I will be the first pro and player to tee off in this year's US Open. So I kind of get the honorary ceremonial tee shot at LA Country Club at 6:45 a.m. on Thursday.
Wait, you're literally the first in the entire competition. You're number one.
Yeah, they like yeah. How cool is that? The USGA likes to do funky, cool stuff, and since I'm a Southern California boy, born in Thousand Oaks, living in Palm Springs, they gave me the first tee shot of this year's US Open.
Jeezy, crazy. I've heard you talk about pressure before and good pressure and how to use that energy, but that was before I think you were aware of the fact that you were the first person that you were kicking off the tournament. What news like that is exciting, but also is there a moment of like, I got to start the whole thing? Like, what did you feel like when you first heard that news? That's insane.
This is actually a funny story. So 2 hours before the tee times came up, the USGA official came up to me. I sat him down, asked him a few questions about the golf course. And he's like, I am so excited for your tee time to come out tomorrow. And me and my trainer looked at each other and we were like, oh my gosh, they're going to pair us with Rory. Or no, they're going to pair us with Brahm. And then we're like running through the scenario. Oh my gosh, we're going to be playing with Phil. Like we went through all these crazy scenarios. And then the tee time come out and I'm at like 6:45 in the morning with a few guys that are just kind of like me. And I'm like, oh. And then we didn't understand, like, why was he pumping us up? And then I come to find out that I'm actually the first one to tee off. And then I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. So I felt like I had more pressure.
That's wild.
I think I had more pressure thinking I was going to play with like Rory or Rahm or Phil. And then when I got that, I'm like, oh, okay, I can handle that. And then, oh, that's really cool. Yeah. So, I feel like it's an honor. I've actually felt like the pressure came off a little, to be honest. And I'm just very, very blessed and honored to, be that guy, I guess, this year in the US Open.
Yeah. Oh, what a guy to be. So exciting. All right. So we still got some time before tee off. You got to what's the plan? How are you filling the hours, whiling away the hours? Are you laying low? Are you picking up a couple of rides while you're in LA and driving? What's the plan for you right now? What are you doing?
You know what? I had thought about doing that this week. Driving with Uber, but I got a courtesy car. I got a nice Lexus and it's not registered under the Uber platform. So, I can't drive that around, which would be cool.
We're going to lay low this week. Okay.
We're going to lay a little low on the Uber app. I think I said something, earlier this week, I'm going to turn my Uber driver app on, but I'm going to show you how I drive my real driver, which was my balm driver. I got 192 ball speed on the range yesterday, which was pretty cool. I was hitting balms, and I get to play a practice round. I get to play a practice round today with Bryson DeChambeau, who's known to be one of the longest hitters in golf.
So exciting. I made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to make any driver puns, because I'm sure you've heard a trillion of those. So.
Well, I like them. I'm trying to come up with new ones, so keep them coming.
If you're on board, then I'll go ahead and dust off the list. I just wanted to be respectful of the fact that you're getting a lot of attention right now, and I'm sure everyone in the universe has made the pun because you are an Uber driver and you're a golfer who uses a driver, and it's right there. You can't. I'm not mad at anyone for doing it. I just wanted to spare you a couple hundred of them.
or I mean, you can hashtag me the People's Driver.
The People's Driver. Let's make that a thing. Right? That's happening. You are the People's Driver. I love that.
Let's get that hashtag going. I think that's a cool one.
Let's get the hashtag going. The People's Driver.
The People's Driver.
I love it. The more we say it, the more it's a thing.
Hey, 3,000 rides. It's 3,000 rides. 4.99 Uber rating. I mean, come on, let's go.
All right, we're going to get to that. I want to talk about your rating because that's not bad at all. That's pretty good. We're going to get to it, of course. But I was just informed before we got on this call, and this is huge news. You are officially sponsored. I see it on the collar by Uber. That's just happened very recently, and that's a huge deal. That's right. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, amazing. The team at Uber has been amazing to put this together so quickly. I saw a tweet from Dara last week on Twitter that says, he knows who he's rooting for in this US Open. So, I mean, gosh, what an honor. I'm so blessed. I'm so humbled and excited to become part of the Uber family, and hope to spread the message that's helped me, overcome trials and tribulations, and help me keep my mind at peace when I'm in my off time, driving with Uber.
That has to be such an amazing feeling, because I had noted that too, that I saw the tweet from Dara, and then I found out about the sponsorship, and just like to have that level of support and excitement behind you going into this tournament after driving for all these years, after putting 3,000 rides on the board, and to have everyone rally behind you and go, let's go, you can do this, you got this, we're rooting for you. What's that feel like?
Dude, Matt, you just gave me goosebumps, bro. I mean, this is like, I've had so many of my riders reach out to me this week and say, hey, that's my Uber driver. Hey, I'm coming to root Berry Henson on at the, LA Country Club, the Hensonator Nation. It's been amazing, the support. And, hey, if an Uber, rider comes out this week and feel free to say what's up, start yelling Uber out there. I mean, we're going to have some fun. I got a rowdy group coming. We'll be having, some Uber hats in the crowd. So it's going to be a really fun week.
Well, I can't wait. Let's go back in time a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about this. And just to give your story some context for those that aren't aware, we've talked about you drive for Uber and all these different things. Now, I read you started driving for Uber back in 2016 because you had to take some time off to heal up a wrist injury. Of all things you could have found yourself doing in that time, how'd you end up driving for Uber? Yeah,
this is a great story. So I was at home. I was using my parents' vehicle, and my dad was just kind of getting annoyed with me. And so I needed to rent a vehicle, and I found that there was an option to rent in LA at Enterprise for Uber. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. And I wanted to, I had a lot of time, and I thought, shoot, I can go raise some money for charity, and drive for Uber and kill some time as I heal up and go through my routine of getting healthy. So I started doing New Year's Eve in like 2016, and instantly loved it. I was like, wow, this is really fun. I made a few $100. I gave some money to charity. And then I was like, well, I kind of want to do more of this. So I kept doing it. I logged a bunch of rides during the 3 months that I was off. And every time I come back home, I need to rent a rental car. And I rent it now at Avis near LAX. And I get my Uber vehicle, I hop in, I drive back to Palm Springs, I catch a few rides along the way, and then I do most of my driving in Palm Springs area. And just because I love the people out there, everybody's happy, everybody's super nice. And then once they hear my story, we have, such an amazing, ride each day. And it's become almost, therapeutic for me in a way. It gets my mind off golf and it calms me. I like to listen to music and I like to tell my story. And I like to listen to other people tell their stories. So it's been a cool experience for me.
We're going to go back because I think you're burying the lead. Did you say you started your first night driving was on New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
That's like right in the lion's den. That is.
I went in hot.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was going to say, we talk about now, here you are kicking off the US Open. You're number one. When we talk about your first Uber drive was on New Year's Eve, I feel like there's a pattern in your life and there's a way you approach things
go big or
that
go
I
home,
absolutely
Matt.
love. Yeah.
Go
my
big
goodness.
Or go home.
No better example. You know, you talk about too how you kind of fell in love with just hearing people's stories and all these different things. Was there a moment? Was there an individual, like a specific ride, or was it the whole experience? Like, does someone stand out where like you went, man, I could do this more often. This isn't just a quick flash in the pan. This is a fun thing. Like, was there an instance, or is it a larger just sort of moment in time when you think back on it? 3,000 rides is a lot, so I'm asking you to pick a favorite.
I mean, I did pick up Nick Kyrgios once, the tennis star, at the tennis tournament in Palm Springs. Really? Yeah, and
super cool.
Yeah, and that was a cool experience. He was probably my first famous person I picked up, and we talked, you know, being a professional athlete, and I told him I was injured and kind of picked his brain on things I can do to get healthy again because he's, you know, a high level athlete. And he asked me a few questions about golf, and it was a cool ride. I picked up one of my favorite childhood movie stars from the Goonies, Data. I can't remember his name, but that was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah. So we had a nice conversation. But I think overall, just the energy I get from my riders, and it just fuels me. I mean, maybe I have good energy too. So I think passing that on and getting that from them, it really connects with me. And driving in the Palm Springs area, it just seems like there's great energy out there, and I feed off that, and I think my riders feed off that as well.
You had mentioned earlier that you had a 4.9 rating as an Uber driver, right? Now, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. If you were an Uber driver and also an Uber rider, then you should technically have 2 ratings, one as a driver and one as a passenger, right?
Yep.
Okay. And I figured if anyone would know, it might be you, because I know you've used both sides. And so the follow-up was going to be, which one's higher? Are you a better driver or passenger?
I'm the better driver, 100%.
Yeah.
I think what am I like?
Easy, no question.
I'm like a 4.85 maybe. I don't know.
That's not bad. That's that's the top of the mountain, tip of the spear right there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not sure what my rider rating is. You'd have to let me know on that one. But I know my driver rating's 4.99, and I keep trying to get it to 5.0. So I'm working there.
If anyone can do it, I believe it's you, Barry. That's unbelievable. That's with 3,000 plus rides, man. That's a pretty remarkable rating. Good job, man. You obviously are providing a fantastic experience out there. Okay. Coming into the home stretch, we're a show for earners, for drivers, and as we've said many times, over 3,000 rides under your belt. What's a little bit of wisdom you can impart, a tip you can share for fellow Uber drivers, part-time or otherwise out there, just other people out there behind the wheel? What's something you could share from your experience?
Yeah, I think driving in an area that really helps because it adds a lot of value to your riders as far as knowledge about the area you're driving, finding the shortcuts, trying to make their experience feel very special. That's something that's worked really good for me in the Palm Springs area. I know the fastest way to the airport. I know a lot about the area. I know what to recommend for restaurants, for things to do. And my riders really appreciate that stuff quite a bit. So knowing your area, knowing the right shortcuts, and making the ride as most enjoyable by telling a nice story or asking them about their day or how they're doing. Those are the keys to driving with Uber, and that's why I've been able to get that 4.99, baby. Let's go.
That's how you do it. That's a perfect spot to wrap things up. That's a great answer. But I'm going to press my luck. I'm gonna roll the dice, and I'm gonna ask one more question, a seemingly absurd question.
Hey, do you remember the press your luck? Don't avoid the whammy.
Don't avoid the whammy. No whammies. No whammies.
No whammies. No whammies.
All right, so here we go. And now this is going to be a seemingly absurd question, so I'm going to ask both you, Barry, and the audience to just bear with me here while I set this up. But I recognize it is ridiculous of me to even suggest that perhaps there is some kind of overlap in the discipline between part-time driving for Uber and playing professional golf. However, if such an overlap were to exist, and if there was ever anyone equipped to tell us about it, well, sir, it'd certainly be you, wouldn't it? So I ask, has one ever informed the other? In other words, are you a better driver because you play golf, or are you a better person at golf because you drive? Have they ever overlapped at all for you, Barry?
Yes. In golf, you need a lot of patience, and you need to be calm and in control. And that definitely overlaps with driving with Uber. So 100%, having that patience, having that calmness, and you're going to have some situations that you just maybe don't expect, but to handle that with calm, an attitude and hospitable, you're going to make the situation so much better for the ride. And it's the same thing in golf. If I am in a situation that's challenging, I have to slow my breathing down. I have to calm down. I have to really keep my excitement level low so I can get the best out of my golf game. Great question, by the way. Great question.
Thank you very much. I felt it was a bit of a risk, but evidently, wow,
I haven't thought of that before, but I seem to get attracted to things that help me in my golf career. And maybe that's what's attracted me to driving with Uber.
I love one of the great things about doing a podcast, or just having a conversation like this, is sometimes the way these little things that you don't even realize present themselves. Just like the correlation between go big or go home, starting on New Year's, first tee out of the gate, and just like finding these little patterns and things. And it's one of the great joys I find of having conversations like these, is when we get to stumble upon those things together. Barry, thank you for stumbling upon all kinds of things with me today, man. And I got to wrap things up, but I sincerely, I can't say it enough. Thank you so much. We appreciate you making the time on this week of all weeks to have you here with us. It's really special, and it means a lot. And so seriously, just thank you big time for doing this. Obviously, we're all going to be rooting for you. Keep the dream alive. Go do what you do best, man. And we'll be watching, glued to our screens, edge of our seats, the whole nine, and cheering from the crowds. To everyone else out there watching, listening, or both, or whatever it is you're doing, be sure to subscribe to our new Earning with Uber YouTube channel. We're working on all kinds of unique original content specifically made for you, and we can't wait to share it all. Thanks again, big time, to Berry Henson, and of course to you, our wonderful audience. I'm your host, Matt Forte, and we'll catch you again next time on Behind the Wheel.